Boom. GM Glomo Chop.
Next morning, Pepito. How are we
How
doing?
we doing? Good. I'm testing, checking. All right. Live on Twitter, live on YouTube. Ready to go. No, yeah. Beyond the Price, episode 2. We've made it the second week. We're on a streak.
On it. I'm on my hydro homie water streak too for everybody playing along in the dojo watching.
I've got my coffee and a couple of bottles of water to kickstart my day as well. Yeah, what's I haven't followed fully. What's the hydration challenge?
People posting that they're drinking water, which everybody should be doing because water and drinking it is very important. They're showing off their bottles in the dojo alongside their activities and everything. I don't know who started it actually. I haven't scrolled back to read it, but somebody started it. And
is this only for water?
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, I guess you can many other things hydrate.
I'll stop here. I'll stop here.
Yeah. Good question.
I mean, people know where I'm going with this. No, but very cool. And it's going to be a good one today. Quick intro to the show. But yeah, we're always here every week now. We'll be talking ecosystem, community, and a bunch of other things from the pith world. And I mean, we're lucky to have a thriving ecosystem with the top builders in the space. And today we have Curvance and Crypto Tom that will be joining us in a couple of minutes. And then Plank, our resident counselor from the community, to chat SUI stuff. I think we'll be chatting SUI stuff next week a bit.
If all goes to plan, yes, we'll be chatting SUI stuff next week as well. Everybody, the community's been quite excited about us chatting about SUI. We've gotten a couple of requests, and they've been chatting about it in the market channel for quite a while now. So I'm looking forward to learning more about SUI.
Yeah, and I think we're in the process of launching one of those recent new SUI tokens. So yeah, I think Basecamp. I think Basecamp or Buildcamp. I'm not even sure. I think Basecamp was seemed to have been a vibe, and I think Plank is going to tell us about it. But that should be good.
Really good. I heard nothing but good things out of people that were there. Looking forward to hearing what Plank's experience was like. I think she's fairly new to the conference scene as well, so she has fresh eyes and a fresh perspective of the whole thing, which is cool.
Indeed. All right, Crypto Tom is in the house.
Gentlemen,
thanks for joining us, sir. It's an early one for you.
All good. I'm sorry my lighting's not better. It's usually I have the beautiful sunrise coming over the mountains here, but I've got some options if I need it. So just let me know if you can't see me.
Nice.
No, you're doing the Brian Johnson morning routine, no?
Yeah, I need my red light therapy glasses on and biohack some supplements this morning, but I'm up and at them. So
was the purple deliberate? Did you do that because piss, or it just happens to be purple?
It just happens to be purple. I've got my light for my plant over here, but yeah, it's just completely coincidental, the purple ecosystem stuff. So it actually ended up to be perfect. So
yeah, this logo behind me is just by chance. I've been built like this. No particular reason. One thing I'll say for the ones that are watching, drop some comments, questions in the chat. I have figured out how to see them live and can show them on screen. So now we're upgrading the live stream setup and skills. So this should be a good one. But Tom, thanks for joining us. To kickstart, can you tell us a bit about yourself and maybe how you got into this crazy crypto scene?
Yeah, sure. My college degree is in marketing originally. And then as a lot of marketing majors do, you kind of find yourself in sales. So I was in tech sales for like 5 years. And during COVID, kind of just got burnt out. And, how it, basically like, with COVID, it was just a little bit harder to make sales. And so I kind of found this moment of like, learning about crypto during that time, and just really latched on to a couple communities. One of them was Constellation Network, which is DAG, and became a community lead there. And then I found my way to this project, SocialFi project called GeoJam, and basically just decided to quit my corporate job altogether and kind of make that leap of faith to try something new and different. I was young and like single at the time, so kind of had like the energy to try something new. And fast forward to today, I guess I've been in crypto like 4 or 5 years now, so made it through the last cycle, and then got introduced to Curvance a year or two. So now basically handle like most of the marketing functions, a lot of the content creation, memes, all the above. So our team, we've got about 8 of us kind of scattered, but mostly stateside in the US on the East Coast. So.
Very cool. I mean, I have a hot one to start. Let's use the chat. Price prediction bull run to break the ice.
Oh boy. We'll see.
You don't have to answer if you.
Oh yeah, I I'll see what the chat says first, but I actually don't even really know what the how we'll price the token and things like that. But we're definitely excited for mainnet launch and TG down the road. So.
Yeah, so I mean, can you tell us a bit about more about Curvance? Because seeing, a lot of you guys working a lot with you as well on a bunch of you guys are, going on a bunch of chains. But yeah, can you give us, the quick hits and TLDR of what you guys are building?
Yeah, for sure. For those who don't know, Curvance is essentially this next evolution of DeFi lending and borrowing platform. So essentially, what this does is enables you as the user to track and manage your positions, kind of like the health of your portfolio as well, all in one place, all while giving you access to all the best deal opportunities that are in DeFi today. So frequently, we see a lot of this fragmentation. I know myself as like a DeFi user, you'll be using multiple websites, like juggling different wallets, and that just becomes a hassle, and it's a lot of extra effort to manage a lot of that. So when you bridge and zap between a lot of these positions, it just creates a lot of like frustration for people, and that's like some things that we've taken into account when it's come to building the platform. So if you're familiar with like Google Flights and Expedia and how they take and aggregate a lot of these prices for flights and have a one-stop shop, that's kind of the way that we see it with Curvance, and giving people the tools and the opportunity to use DeFi more efficiently. The last piece that I'll mention too that makes the platform more unique in comparison to like an Aave or a Morpho or Dolomite or some of these pre-existing ones is the capital efficiency piece. And that's all made possible with this dynamic liquidation mechanism that we've implemented. So by having higher capital efficiency, that benefit trickles down to the users themselves, gives them the ability to have the highest loan to value ratios in DeFi. So pretty much in a high level, in a nutshell, that's what Curvance is. So.
Yeah, and you guys are building on a bunch of different chains. I think Monad is the one of the hyped ones, but I know you guys are 6 or 7 or planning to.
That was the original vision, and it still is today. And I think we've kind of like as we've gotten a little bit closer to our launch, that still is in the pipeline long term, but. Actually, Monad is the chain that it's always been our home. And I think as we approach our launch and as mainnet is, upcoming for theirs, we plan to, kind of do our launch and coincide with theirs as well. So they've, not only shown us a tremendous amount of support from the start. I know our team met them like over 2 years ago. I met them about a year ago at ETH Denver, and they've shown us like not only so much support on the technical and the dev side, but for like me on the marketing side And that's like the type of support that you're not going to really get with some of these like larger chains. But we do have works to, launch on Berachain, Base, Optimism, and maybe even like Hyperliquid Sonic down the road. But, right now I think since time is kind of the essence, we're just trying to, ship something because it has been quite a while. So, but the reasons for that with Monad too, user experience is kind of like our highest priority. And you can kind of see that with the way that our UI UX is built. We've taken, a ton of, user feedback into account, and that goes hand in hand with having like this ultra high powered chain like Monad, where you're able to have, ultra fast speed and execution for transactions, because that trickles down to the type of user experience that people have with having lower gas fees and things of that nature. So maybe a way to look at it is like, we're like the body of a Ferrari, and then throwing that Ferrari engine in is like having a Monad superpowering it. So I think that's the best way I can explain it.
I'd love to hear more about how Monad and the Monad community and the marketing that they do have been able to support you guys through this journey. I'm super curious about how they've done it for a whole bunch of other projects. I've heard very similar sentiment from others. So I'd love to know how that feels and looks from the inside for Curvance. So we're really curious about it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even I always say this story, like I had gone to ETH Denver last year, had never met any of the team. And, at the time, like Tunes, kind of like took me under his arm and gave me a lot of like, feedback and kind of almost like the blueprint of what it means to be like a purple ecosystem project. And, a lot of what we've created is, piggybacked off of the culture and, the community. I mean, not even like you've got like the plushies that we've made, which has been a huge hit as well. Yeah, even just like we do these weekly calls with Tunes, and we kind of aggregate a lot of these, like I know Pepito, you're familiar with kind of like this as well. But just being able to do these like community initiatives together, not only with the Monad team, but with the different ecosystem projects and co-collaborate, it really feels like a family, and not just, building like crypto projects together. But yeah, just having that top down support on a weekly basis where you can just, message someone over Telegram and get a response. Like I said, that's probably not something that you're going to get on, Base or some of these like larger chains. You kind of just become like another number to them.
It's a true community in that sense, I guess. How does sorry, Pierre, go ahead.
And to go in that direction, I mean, I completely agree. And to be, I mean, lucky myself working with, I guess, 100+ ecosystem. I mean, Monad is right up the top in terms of, connecting us. It's very simple. People are, nice and open to collaborate on a bunch of things openly, and, just a DMOS. So yeah, I mean, this is exactly my feel. And I'd learn a lot if I was ever in this position of ecosystem working with a bunch of teams. I think Monad is one to follow and to take a page out of the playbook of the ecosystem side.
Yeah, for sure. It's always the people that drive projects like these, and even hanging out with Keiko from your guys' team at ETH Denver was a lot of fun too. And I think that's a testament to the type of people that you guys bring under your wing and your project to build what you're doing. So hats off to you guys.
How did the floppy disk mascot come about?
I always get asked that, and like I wasn't there at the genesis of it, but I think Mike, our co-founder, his answer would be, I think at some point or another they started using the floppy disk, just the logo, and then someone in the community created this kind of like scuffed, floppy disk creature with arms and legs. It was kind of like Adventure Time styled, if you're familiar. And I have the original sticker in our Discord that if you saw it, like the evolution of Floppy, he's changed quite a bit over time, but it almost reminds me from the start, if you ever were using Microsoft Word back over a decade ago, and they have this thing called Clippy, it's almost like this AI agent where it gives you like advice on how to use Microsoft Word. It almost reminds me of like a spinoff with that in a way too. So I think people have really embraced him and loved him. We almost have this whole like culture, like a religion. We even have like our own prayer of like the Church of Floppy, which is really funny. So people eat them up.
Right, I love it. I like the use of the old tech to usher in the new, the floppy disk, and then the paperclip comparison is a good one. I like it.
Kind of retro vibes or something.
Yeah, yeah. I know there's people using crypto who have no idea what a floppy disk is. They've never used one or seen it before.
Yeah, they're too young. It's all these Gen Zers that didn't endure what we had to deal with.
Right.
I remember the cassettes, but not the floppy disks.
I used to have a Walkman, just like a chocolate Walkman that I used as a kid in primary school. Those were great. One CD on loop. How's you approaching community over the past year, Dom? It's kind of, I think community and marketing in Web3 has evolved quite a bit over the past 12 to 18 months. I find it really interesting seeing how different communities and different projects are approaching it, particularly with this really high and volatile airdrop meta going around and people trying to be a part of community, but not necessarily being a part of community at the same time, and how you guys approach that.
It's a great question. I think from the last project that I was at GeoJam, and I started clean slate with Curvance, it kind of gave me the opportunity to take some time and kind of like reevaluate what you think of like what it means to be a community member, because we all were community members at one time with a lot of these projects. And it's like, what would I want to see, moving forward when it comes to like, weekly updates, giving people like quests and cool, fun things to do along the way, like building culture and also education. So, I think those like, let's call it like 4 pillars or things that I've put a lot of like time and attention to myself, and just being consistent each day. I know like the thing that used to annoy me the most with some of these projects, especially when you're invested in them and you have like a financial incentive and there's TG has already happened, let alone, being in a testnet environment like we are, is, you'll won't get like a post or an update from the team, like 2 or 3 days. But like, our co-founder is like, even in the Telegram chat, like answering questions, just being very like accessible. And that's kind of like the mentality I've had, is like, I'm just one DM away at any given time, on the weekends, and try to respond as fast as I can to different questions. But, another facet of it too is, like I mentioned, the education piece is, with what we're building, it's a highly, highly technical product. And a lot of it, even goes over my head a lot of times. So how do we take that and water it down into a palatable format where people can understand it? And so that's why we made it kind of fun, and like funny is like the memes are funny, but like people always remember, when someone made them laugh or how they made them feel. And so when you have something that makes them laugh and they also learn something in the process, I think that's a win-win, because over time, they're like, when we finally do launch, they understand how to use the platform. It's not just like, all right, well, here's all these technical updates, and then here's, the Curvance site, have at it. And they're like, they don't feel comfortable with depositing their assets because it can be daunting. But, we've tried to, like I said before, put a lot of time and attention into the UI UX to make that part, very streamlined. So.
And I feel like the choice of Monad is quite perfect for this, where I think you have quite the breeding ground for, I'd say you have likely some DeFi users that are pretty aware of what they do, but also some newbies that I guess you guys will try to introduce more and more to DeFi stuff. So you probably had some amazing feedback from users and having them walk through the platform and so on.
Right. Something I'll mention too that you made me think of is, hats off to Monad as far as like, there's real data to show the growth that we've had on number of wallets, because we started the day before testnet with 500,000 users. And then in 2 weeks, we doubled to 1 million. And then now I think we're well over 2 million. And that was a huge, testament to, I think, their support along the way and having us like on their front page. And you have in the Monad community just so many like end users that are like super eager to use these apps. And then that pump for gains game that we did, I think kind of like accelerated that growth too. It made something fun and exciting where people can utilize it. So, having over 2 million wallets, like in a testnet environment, it's pretty crazy. So we can only imagine what's going to happen when we launch. And that's kind of goes back to my original point of why we chose Monad 2 is once we're at 10 million users and you have thousands of transactions, using like an Ethereum or like, some of these other chains that aren't high performant, would be pretty difficult. So, having like that ultra fast, speed is going to be paramount when you've got all these community members and users that are eager to deposit, assets. The last thing I'll mention too is, a lot of these DeFi protocols think that targeting whales and, these types of, users is important, which it is. But, our target demographic, in a way is like the minnows, which is like the people that are, depositing maybe like a couple $100 or a couple thousand, because those are those people that are going to be loyal with you and going to refer you to their friends with no incentives, even though we might have a referral program. So that's the smaller users are like super important to us.
I love that. How have you found the testnet experience on Monad so far? It's been fairly smooth. You guys are how many months into testnet is Monad now for public testnet? It's 3 months, isn't it, roughly?
Yeah, the 2 or 3 was it. Like early March or mid-February or something. The experience has been great. I mean, obviously we had some RPC issues, which was kind of like part of the course. And I think what we all experienced. And, we had like people complaining, but they don't understand, I think, as like first-time users, that was just like, that's part of testnet is to have, a couple errors. And that's how you get better.
Yeah, exactly.
And like, it's not going to be squeaky clean right out of the gate. But, like I said, the support has along that path has been super, these, Keone and like Abdul and, a lot of these guys were getting on, calls with us. And then even Tunes was getting on a weekly call with us as well to be like, this is like how we want to do like the go to market for this. And like, how do we perfect this pump for gains app so that when we launch it, it's going to be smooth and we're going to have a lot of people trickle in. So, our experience has been amazing so far.
Just a reminder for people tuning in, feel free to drop questions in the chat and we'll try to ask them and address them as we go along too, by the way.
Awesome.
Great. Any alpha on when Monad mainnet, Tom?
I have a hunch, and obviously I think Floppy would have to assassinate me here in my apartment if I gave like specific dates, as we know, if I say even like a month, then it's probably going to be a month after that. But I guess like on our side, like some things I'll mention is we're right now we're in this code freeze, which is a good thing because that means there's really no further changes. We had like 16,000 lines of code and we've consolidated it down into half, which is great. So that gives like less lines of code to audit. And 16,000 is like enormous if you're not like familiar with. That's what's taken us so long, I think, to launch is because of the amount of auditing required for that, because there's so many features to it.
You've halved that 16,000, is that right?
Yeah.
We're down to what, 8,000?
Something like that. Yeah, I think it's almost down to like 7,500. So hopefully this last audit will be pretty smooth sailing, and then after that we'll do we're planning out this GTM strategy on the Monad side to really knock this launch out of the park. I think there's so much room for growth even between now and whenever Monad mainnet is. So we definitely plan to, like I said, knock this out of the park.
Awesome. Is the code freeze a part of a larger ecosystem thing, or is it just just for Curvance?
Just for Curvance, but I guess I certainly am not the most technical on some of these things, but I think that has the size of the code base has implications for not only the assortment of features that we have, but like the different chains that we plan to launch on. But I think these are types of things too that we can kind of like add and implement, post launch, as we decide to add on like Barachain and maybe even movement, base, optimism, and some of these others. So I think we freeze the code like back in January, and then we decided to add some more features, and now we're finally coming to the final stretch here.
Cool. Very cool. It's exciting to see all of these projects building out our Monad. I love that they're seemingly, and please correct me if I'm wrong, I'd like to know the insider perspective, that they're putting so much effort and work into having a whole suite of dApps and applications ready to go once they're live on mainnet, so people have things to do, stuff to interact with from the get-go. I think that's a really important and exciting strategy to have.
And I guess I'll drop Crypto Kelly's question, which I think you start answering here, Chop, is how do, or in my opinion, how do Monad keeps, its community post airdrop and TGE, is that you'll have tons of stuff to do, NFTs that people are fighting for right now with a huge amount of testnet mon to get. And I think that's one thing that hopefully goes well. And but it's super exciting to me that, I'll be able to, park my and loop and get some yield on my stables or LSTs with Curvance, trade on Drake, Purple, and all bunch of apps that we know of, and liquid staking and so on. So I think that, that's part of one of the answer. Tom, do you have, other thoughts on how? And I guess the community is buzzing and people are now friends.
Yeah, I have like a lot of thoughts on it. And I guess in short, you're always going to have people when it comes to like an airdrop for Monad in this case, that are going to, I guess, do as much as they can to farm, and then they sell and they leave and they maybe never come back. And that's totally fine. But I think with the culture aspect, I think the retention is going to be stickier than people think, because once they're emotionally, attached to the type of people they've connected with in these communities. Cause I see it in our community. Like I hop in at like 5 a.m. this morning and people are like, "Hey man, like, how's your day? Are you feeling better?" And I'm like, these people know each other like personally, but just have never met in real life. So when you have that type of like culture that you're building, I think that's going to keep people kind of like using the ecosystem long term. So when they get this airdrop or they decide to buy Mon themselves, they have all these cool LSTs and LRTs that with like what Kinsu is building in Fastlane and Magma and some of these others, where they're going to want to take that and do something with it, and they can park those LSTs or LRTs in Curvance and borrow against it. So that's just going to unlock this whole plethora of opportunity for people to watch their positions grow and get really immersed in DeFi. So I'm super excited for it.
It kind of the chain or the network itself becomes part of people's identities in that sense, and they're less and less likely to part ways with it once it becomes a part of their identity, and they've made friends and integrated all of these people into their day-to-day lives. Which kind of goes back to why it's really important to have dApps and stuff ready to go on mainnet, so that people have things to use and liquidity to play around with on chain. Because if there's nothing there, then they'll go elsewhere to be entertained.
100%, totally agree.
Yeah.
And one thing you guys are doing really well, I think, is also leveraging the Monad community to build your Curvance community, a bunch of other protocols. And I'm from seeing what's happening, the crossover between you guys on the app level as well, where likely a Curvance community member is a Kinsu community member. Can't name 10 other apps on Monad, but where you really aggregate and make that community feel even stronger, where you're not just attached to the chain, but also the bunch of apps, and you make friends along all those different communities.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that was the genesis of like doing those Yappy Hour spaces. Pepito, I know we had you and Kyle on a while ago, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, the genesis of those was like, how do we cross-pollinate a lot of the different projects and have our community, learn about what's being built, because there is a lot of crossover. And, even like a project like Rarebet Sports, that's not DeFi related at all, but at some point in time, they, hope to integrate like our CVE token into their, to be able to give people the opportunity to like bet with it, which is really cool. But we love just doing like co-marketing with anybody, no matter, even if there isn't like direct alignment. There's just too many like cool apps being built on Monad not to do these fun spaces on Fridays and like stuff what you're doing here, where people can like rewatch the spaces and kind of humanize these projects, because frequently we just see a person behind their profile picture. And when we're doing, this is my first time actually having my face on anything, so I'm pretty excited, I guess, for this.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Aside from what you're doing with
happened,
yeah, it's actually the second time I've doxed myself now too. Last week was the first one for me. So welcome to the club.
Gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Apart from what you're doing with Curvance and Monad, is there anything else keeping you interested and piquing your interest in Web3 at the moment, Tom?
The AI stuff definitely piques my interest, and I can't say I fully can understand or explain what an AI agent is to my parents, probably, but I think there's like a lot of cool things being built where there's overlap with DeFi. I think like the DeFi AI like intersection will be cool, and that's like even something we're kind of like taking a peek at post launch, is like maybe having this like floppy AI agent that enables people to better manage and track their positions by feeding it like certain
pops up on the screen. It is really annoying, just like Clippy was.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you basically have this like him pop up and say, "Hey, like, do you want to do a more conservative, DeFi approach this week, or something like way more exotic and higher yield, I guess." And then have him kind of like run with it. So that would be something that we hope to implement. But to answer your original question, I really just have kind of like had my blinders on with not only building, but the market's been kind of weird right now. I don't know what you guys think, but it's just been kind of like the timeline's been kind of a ghost town a little bit. But there are projects that are just continuing to be heads down and build, like what you guys are doing. And I think that allows us to kind of like stand out, because we're the ones that are still around, building cool shit. So I think Pepito, what you're doing with like the TikTok is really cool, and the videos. I think it really, like I said before, sort of humanizes the project. And when you're willing to do stuff like that out of your comfort zone, I don't know, that just like goes a long way. So I think that's awesome.
Sure. My overall sentiment is the same. It's timeline is more or less as quiet as I've ever seen it. But there's still no shortage of cool stuff going on and being built. Like in Sui, for example, we've got a whole range of things that people have pointed out that they've been checking out on the Sui chain that are super interesting. But all of the tourists are gone, so it's only the dedicated diehard community members and fans who have stuck around to see what's going on, which is exciting. It makes things a bit easier to manage in a way, I think, rather than having people asking when airdrop and complaining about token price and what have you. It's kind of nice to have the diehard fans around and to share the space with them while it's quiet, because it doesn't last, as we all know. There will be another period of crazy coming at some stage.
For sure.
It's a vibe of also we're trying to onboard institutions and tradfi to all this world where as a degen, I guess ourselves is less exciting, I say, or having a BlackRock coming on chain. I'm like, oh, this sounds cool, but I mean, this doesn't change my my life as a DeFi user for now. But I think it's kind of that weird timeline where, and I mean, some fun or not fun stuff are happening as well. So it's kind of, where do I stand? What am I doing? And but I think builders will build, and that's where I think some cool stuff is going to come out the next Monad mainnet, a bunch of other chains coming out, and apps and builders. I think focusing on user facing more, not just for us degens to loop and do whatever crazy stuff we were doing with our magic internet money, but onboard some real life people, pretty much.
Yeah, for sure. And I think when we're kind of in this position, like we mentioned, where Ethereum is, the sentiment with that's at an all-time low, and it sort of makes chains like that are newer and kind of shinier, I guess, like Monad stand out. And for you guys being at the intersection of all that with the oracles and data price feeds, you're kind of like the piping, or like the glue that kind of like binds all that together. And it's super crucial for like what we're building to, with like the different volatile assets and things. So I think you guys are like in a perfect position to kind of like reap the benefits of like Monad being successful, and then you guys as well, and kind of like and us too, using the price feeds through you all. It's kind of like a win-win for all of us.
One of my favorite things about this is that we don't live or die on the success of any one chain, but everybody's success is our success in the space. So we're out here to build up everybody as much and as often as we can. Before we let you go, Tom, one piece of advice for somebody joining the Web3 ecosystem today, based on your journey so far?
I would say, when I got started initially, I was just like super eager and like excited to hop in, feet first. And, I guess at the time there was like a financial incentive because the, memes and like spreading the gospel of like the project that I had first gotten, started working with, I was essentially doing a lot of like, work for free in a sense. And I think it's really cool to see, in the Monad community, a lot of these like top, community members get hired as full-time employees. And you just don't really like, a lot of people think, oh, well, why would like Monad not just hire like the top marketing person from Web 2? But, trying to throw someone like that in heads first into like Web 3 or crypto would be like, the learning curve would just be so vast because there's like so much nuance to it. So the advice I guess I have is that, you might have to, be volunteering your time for an extended period, but you'll, eventually get noticed when you're consistent. And that's how, like with our mods that we have, just on a surface level, is like they were like super eager and excited to help us out and support us in the beginning. And then, we, kind of has transpired into them, working for us like kind of semi part-time. And so, I think it's just about like being eager to help and support, even if it, means you're kind of just volunteering your time, and eventually you'll get noticed. So
I couldn't agree more. Fantastic advice.
Yeah. Spot on. Tom, thanks for your time. It was really cool having you. And now super excited to see what you guys cook up, and hopefully we, introduce Curvance well to our watchers here, and go use. I think the Discord is the best way to get in the community, and then check out the app and test it out on the Monad testnet.
Yeah, for sure. Give us a follow on the intern account, on the main account. You can shoot me a follow as well. But Discord is the best way to keep in touch with a lot of the different announcements and spaces. We do like our community AMAs on Tuesdays and our office hours Fridays. Then we always have like Yappy Hour spaces. So would love to like run it back with you guys sometime soon. I'm sure, because it has been a while, and I'm sure we can yap about all sorts of things. So appreciate you guys having me. It's been a lot of fun.
Thanks to you,
No
Tom.
problems on that. Thank you.
Cheers. Talk soon.
Have a good one. Boom, banger.
That's couldn't extract that monad mainnet alpha out of him. Couldn't quite get there.
And look who's here. Look who the cat dragged in.
Blanky Plank. How's it going?
Hello. I am so sorry about the quality of my camera. Like, I need to invest in my camera and in the microphone and stuff instead of investing in meme coins. I'm sorry.
We need to get you a neon pit sign for behind you for the wall.
I actually do have a neon sign, but it's nothing like the one that Pepito has. It's top notch.
So, like, you've just come back from Sui Base Camp. That's what it's called, isn't it?
Yes, correct. Sui Base Camp. Yeah, I just came back like a couple days ago. Yeah.
How was it? Did you enjoy yourself? This is only your, correct me if I'm wrong, second time at a major-ish crypto conference, right?
Yeah. I'm relatively new to all these conferences. So like you mentioned before, I have a little bit different perspective. Like, I see a lot of people who are annoyed, like, oh, hello, I've seen you before a gazillion times. Hi again. But for me, this is still exciting. And yeah, I can definitely say that this is probably one of the biggest events I've ever been to. Huge, massive. I was shocked how many people actually came. And not only Sui native, but also people from a lot of other different ecosystem, which was quite surprising, but definitely a nice surprise. Yeah, super banger, massive event. Cannot wait for the next year.
Was there any standouts from the event? Any particular people you spoke to that you got incredibly bullish on, or projects, or anything? Major takeaways?
Yeah, there were a couple of big announcements during the base camp. I think the first one was the game dollar. It made a lot of fuss in the gaming community. Definitely big news. I didn't get a chance to speak to
what is that? Can you explain what that is?
the game dollar. So it's basically a new stable coin on Sui. And I'm not entirely sure how it works, but from my understanding, it's like gamers are able to mine this coin. And this is basically like an incentive for gaming, which Sui actually is introducing to the ecosystem. Yeah, so this is something new and exciting. They're trying to push a lot of Web3 gaming, and they want Sui to be the ecosystem of Web3 gaming. So they introduced the game dollar. Yeah.
Sui has also the handheld device, right, for gaming, like a kind of like a Steam Deck, isn't it?
Are you referring to Sui Play? I think it's called Sui Play.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
It was, oh man, I tried to come up to them, but it was impossible. The line was huge. Like, people were standing there the entire day. 5-6 rows of people waiting to touch it and to try it. I didn't get a chance to try it personally, like properly, but I did come up, and it's a very nice device, actually. Very comfortable to hold. So yeah, it's also, I think it's been sold out last week. Yeah.
I had seen it, and I was really impressed by the quality. I went to the base camp the year before, which was in Paris, and actually that's where they unveiled it, if I'm not mistaken. And it looked really cool and like a real solid gaming platform. I mean, like a handheld device.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a gamer, so I cannot say anything. Like, I'm not a gamer. Yeah. But it was nice. I saw a lot of hype around it. People were definitely excited about this.
I like it. It's an interesting play for Sui. No, I'm saying it's getting delivered in the summer, apparently, that's pretty close. It must be the European summer, unless it's Australian summer, which is a while away still. That's a couple of months away. But I like that. That's interesting that they're focusing on gaming. I have heard rumors, totally unsubstantiated rumors, that Sui is talking to and hoping to get Pokemon on chain on Sui as well, which would be huge.
Yeah, I've heard those news as well. I think if we're talking about gaming as well, the Claynosaur's expansion to Sui is obviously pretty big because Claynosaurs are also building their own game. So this was a huge event. A lot of, like opinions, a lot of different stuff happening on the timeline regarding this news. But in the majority, like people are super bullish on this. They are super bullish on expansion. And I think this is my personal opinion. This is the way to go.
I like it. I wish I had time to play games and check this stuff out, but I just don't anymore.
Yeah,
Not
same.
a thing for me, unfortunately. I've got some good quiz questions here. I need to add one more for the audience before we slowly wrap up. Yeah, do you have any more questions for Plank? Plank, do you have anything you wanna ask us while you're here?
No, actually, about Sui, man.
No, about it. It's probably worth mentioning the Lisbon event that you've just posted about on the Pythonians Twitter.
Oh yeah. So this is going to be one the first Pythonians official proper event where where the team and the holders can actually get together. I think we're going to announce more specific details later on regarding the venue and the time and everything. But yeah, this is happening as a side event for Non-Fungible Conference in Lisbon. June 5th, and we are going to host it. So we are super excited to meet holders, non-holders. We just want to, come and meet everyone, talk about the brand, talk about crypto in general. So this is why we're doing it.
And an ice bath challenge as well. Bringing some ice bath and we'll dive in there.
Yeah, we're on the spree to create more content, Pepito. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We already discussed it, yeah.
I'm gonna test this out. I'm not certain it's gonna work, but we'll play. I've got a quiz for everybody to make sure that you've all been paying attention, and I'm gonna try and get it up now.
The suspense is killing me.
Yeah.
All right.
Here it is.
So you can see it on screen now. Follow the link. Jump in. I'll give it a couple minutes. Make sure. Anybody playing along, we'll throw some impact awards to the winner at the end in the Discord. It's going to be.
Wait, gotta go to play.booklet.com.
Yep, and put in that number up the top there, or you should be able to just scan that QR code too. Hopefully, it's big enough.
Can I do it as well?
Yeah, you can definitely.
Ooh.
One. I know there's a lot more than one person listening. Come on, guys. If you're having trouble with the link, let me know because I'll find a different.
Let me try
a different way to do this in future. I might try and go in it too, just to make sure. There's Dove. How's it going, Dove?
Dove, nice. Oh yeah, I'm in there. I'm in here. Hopefully, I get a couple good answers.
Your biggest fan has joined us, Peter.
Oh, nice. Welcome. I think you misspelled your name though. And bam. Put this.
Well, I'm not 10. Okay, that's pretty good. I'll give it one more minute. I'll let a couple more people join if they're around. And we can start. It was difficult. It was harder than I thought to write these questions as we were chatting. I have to figure out a better way to do this next time. We'll see. All right, let's start. Let's start with 10. We won't hold people up. We've got another chat to jump to in the PISS Discord after this. If we have instructions, we don't need it.
Damn. Deep in the trenches for the questions. Must have paid the attention.
I'm supposed to take gold from some of you guys, but none of you have anything. Down bad.
We can't see what's going on. Is the game working? I should have joined at the same time. Are you getting the quiz questions?
Yeah, it looks like it's working for me.
Okay, cool. Pretty easy questions, I think. I could have made them harder, but I didn't want to rug anybody too hard on the first go. I only put 10 seconds there to answer each question too, so it's tight. Cody has definitely been paying attention. Oh,
I'm getting absolutely nothing. I'm getting rugged.
Yeah, that's because you invited me to the stream. That's why.
That's first and last time. Oh, I got some gold. Finally. How many Qs do you have in there, Chop?
It was 9. 9, I believe.
How many? Oh, gee. That's a good question. Oh, well. Incorrect.
Chop, did you come up with these questions? Was it you?
I think so. Something tells me that there's other questions in there too. They should all be about what we would this stream. They should all be related to what we were chatting about.
I'm getting questions twice now.
You got to answer them right. That's why.
No, but
yeah, me too. Actually,
I've got them right.
Okay. What's this? I can end it. I think everybody's probably done by now, so let's end it. If we're
yeah. Bats has too much gold. Oh, I guess it ended. 7th place. Didn't do too well. No way! Come on.
I'm 10th. Unbelievable.
Who did this?
Ooh.
Who?
Man, he knows too much about Pith. He knows too much.
That's not surprising. He's our biggest fan. He should know a lot about Pith.
True.
Yeah, stalking you all the time.
That's right. All right. Askmaster, please join the Pith Discord so I can shower you with love and praise.
Pretty good results. 74% correct from the crowd.
It's not bad. They've been paying attention.
Yeah.
What's that? That's not quite a distinction. Do better next week, guys.
Yeah. You gotta see. You pass. Yeah. You pass. Pass the class.
These get degrees is what we say.
All right. I don't know if you got a couple. One thing that I've seen yesterday that probably is worth mentioning is if you've got some .sol domains
Yes.
and some .pith holders, .pith.sol, got some. I mean, not yet, but we'll be having some SNS tokens from our good friends from the Solana name service. So if you, I mean, keep an eye on this, as I guess we'll share the news when claim is live, as they've granted us some a few tokens for holding those .pith domains, which is really cool news. So big thanks to them.
Absolutely. We also have just recently funded a tournament for Sol Arena for the community to play along with. So anybody looking to play Sol Arena and maybe farm a potential future airdrop, or maybe not, can jump on Sol Arena and have a play the cool snake-like game and have a play around and win some PIF over the next couple of months. It's spread out over a decent amount of time to make it fun, but yeah, check out Sol Arena. I'm probably gonna stream a couple of games in the Discord during the tournament play as well over the period, because the feedback from the game is great. Everybody seems to really enjoy it. It's really simple, really easy to play, and a good little bit of fun for a Web3 game. Recommend it.
What I haven't played in a while that we did in the Discord at some point is Backwoods.
Yes. Yes, that's a good call. I wonder what Backwoods is doing.
Game was getting too crazy for me to play at some point, but not sure what's going on over there. Might be worth a look to see what's happening.
Jeezy was big into it for a while there. I wonder if he's still playing.
I mean, we had a couple whales on the NFT side, I think.
Yeah, I just remember that. I think I've got like 2 or 3 NFTs staked on there still. Totally forgot
Stake
about
and forget. Stake and forget.
Yeah, probably a good place to leave it.
I mean, won't be lost. Hopefully,
won't be lost. No, it'll come back to just a massive bag of Backwoods tokens, and I can retire.
Hey, let's
right, everybody.
We can hope.
All right, everybody. I think it's a good place to leave it. We're rambling now. We're going just on an hour. Yeah, Pepito, Plank, any closing words for Beyond the Price number 2?
Honestly, no. Just some cool news coming. Pith is building. Pith is on a bunch of chains, and so it's a exciting time to be a Pythians and to be in the community. So if you're not, hop in the Discord and come get bullied by Plank.
Always happy to bully. But yeah, what you said, Pepito, that's actually true. I was surprised how many people just know Pith and are bullish on Pith, and they know what the products we're building and how valuable they are for DeFi and the space overall. So yeah, hop into Discord and get those impact awards, participate in different impact operations, and let's go to the moon.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. See you again next week with some sweet chats.
Have a great one, guys.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.